Hello, this is Cole with your Thursday afternoon tropical weather outlook update. You can see here the Atlantic is fairly inactive besides one feature. Let me get to the other stuff first. If I can get this together. Oh, all right, get this together. All right. So we have this little disturbance here that will not form. The GFS initially showed it becoming a hurricane, but that is not going to happen. The GFS has been very inaccurate thus far this hurricane season. We also have, let me delete this, we also have this little area of low pressure that will remain extratropical, although some models initially showed it becoming subtropical. That is not going to happen anymore. Alright, then the big story here, we have this robust tropical wave in the far southeast Atlantic right now. Let me get a close up zoom on that. Let's just go. Let's go right. I don't know. I have it open. Silly me. Okay. Right. So, this is a very healthy tropical wave here. It is overperforming, and I'll get to that in a second. But the first thing you notice here is we have upper level cirrus outflow going this way on the northern side of the circulation, and this way to the south or northerly on the southern side of the circulation. Let me look a little bit more. Perhaps some here. Perhaps I'm going like this. This is exactly what you want to see in developing tropical cyclones here. It shows that we have little shear, which destroyed tropical cyclones, which is one reason why this thing should develop, could develop soon, and become and strengthen. Another thing you can notice here, I don't have to draw anything. Actually, let me just draw. We have very persistent convection here. We have cloud tops into the negative 80s Celsius. I don't know if that's Celsius or Fahrenheit. I believe it's Celsius. But that means that there's lots of thunderstorms going on here, and this is a healthy tropical disturbance in general. In addition, this is all happening right here. This is all happening in the evening, which means that it is surviving the time when thermodynamics are the least favorable for thunderstorms in the ocean, which is another sign that this thing is getting healthier by the moment. Well, talking about getting healthier, this is the APM NEC advisory on it. They just upped the chances from 0 in 48 hours to 0 48 hours and 20% in 5 days to 20% in 48 hours and 40%, sorry for that bad circle, in 5 days. So a very large jump for reasons I just said before. This thing is overperforming quite significantly. Well, just to look at where it is in comparison to the entire Atlantic, it is south-southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands, far away from land for now, but as you can see, it's expected to head right for the Leeward Islands, and odds are this thing, no matter what's going to happen, this isn't going to fall apart. It's basically guaranteed we're going to have some type of impacts here, which will likely include Trinidad and Tobago, Dominica, all of the Leeward Islands over here are expected to get at least some gusty winds and heavy rainfall from this in, say, around 5 to 6 days. This thing will be moving a little bit quickly, but, still disruptive weather is expected here. And, that is the least that will happen if this does strengthen, which many models do, and I'll get to models in a second. We could have more impacts like, well, tropical storm or hurricane conditions, probably not hurricane conditions, but, tropical storm conditions are possible, given what models show. And about those models, let's look at that now. This is 18Z GFS, which shows just a weak wave, not a weak wave, but a fairly robust wave actually coming into the Leeward Islands. This is Wednesday morning here, or Tuesday night. Really just gusty winds and heavy rainfall occurring on this model. Let's see. CMC is a very different story. We have a near hurricane, if not hurricane, approaching the Leeward Islands Wednesday night, actually. Wednesday at like 8 p.m. Eastern Time, around 9 p.m. whatever time this is. I don't recall what it's called. But this would be a little bit of a. This would not be a pleasant situation here. Definitely strong tropical storm conditions ongoing in a few Leeward Islands here. CMC is definitely part of the more intense models for this so far approaching the Leeward Islands. Let's look at the Icon model, which, let me go back over on, shows similar to the GFS, a little bit similar to the GFS, except a little bit stronger, probably a weak tropical storm approaching the Leeward Islands, gusty winds and heavy rainfall in this model. And then, the big story here, the Euro model, we have a decent tropical storm more south than all other models, approaching just north of Trinidad and Tobago. What is this? This is Wednesday morning too, or Tuesday night. But what's interesting is that if we go a bit further in time here, how do I explain this? This is a likely Category 3 hurricane approaching Central America. This would be a remarkable storm if this does verify, but the good thing is this is 210 hours out, meaning there's a lot of uncertainty past, say, what happens in the Windward Islands. Even in the next 2 to 5 days, there's a lot of uncertainty. But this is just something to keep in mind. It shows that conditions are anomalously favorable in general for this thing, and this could do some things that haven't really been seen before. It's a bit weird wording here, but it's true. It's not very common. We have the 2040 AOI marked in June in the Atlantic. And it's not that common either that we have a few models showing a hurricane. Let me look at, this is the European model here. The European model ensemble members. They also, what these basically do is take the main model, which is Euro, and they slightly change a few factors. And what we basically get is a bunch of different possible solutions, given what the main model shows. What they do show, let me go back a little bit. Let me get my pen out here. Right. So, most of these are a decent tropical storm to a decent, at least a strong tropical storm to a moderate hurricane here. However, there's a widespread all the way from Hispaniola all the way to South America and Aruba here. And all the way, say, south of Cuba to south of Puerto Rico in terms of west and east. So there's a lot of uncertainty with timing and and the strength of this thing as it enters the Caribbean. Let's check this is the same thing but for the GFS model. Very similar story actually, which is another part of why this is a bit concerning. Many ensembles do show a strong hurricane, or at least a strong tropical storm, and just a little bit more agreement here in this bit of a circle in the Caribbean. This is Thursday evening. So basically the thing is, it's hard to tell what specifics are going to be, but we have to watch and see how this goes. What this basically tells us is that we could see something that hasn't happened in history before. I am being quite serious here. This is June. This frame is in June, and we have a hurricane going on in the Central Caribbean in June. Like that has not happened before in history. So that I believe maybe once in history. So this is a big deal, and we have to hope that doesn't happen, but we have to keep in mind that it is possible given the environment. And let me refer back to that environment part for a second. I want to mention, so I talked about the shear before, talked about the convection. Let's talk about the water vapor here. Right, so this thing has a giant bubble of moist air, which means dry air is not going to be an issue. This giant moisture bubble is just going to go west with it. And basically what this means, we have low shear, that's a bad arrow, low shear, low dry air, and it's already a healthy wave. These are all signs that this thing is healthy and is very possibly going to strengthen and become something that has not been recorded in history before. Because this is something that you would see more often in August or September when the hurricane season is the most active, not June, not late June. So, this is a very unique situation, and we just have to watch it closely. There's still a lot of uncertainty here. One more thing I wanted to mention is the sea surface temperatures. Let me go to 1 second. Right, so we have, let me go a little bit. This is sufficient. Right, so we have anomalously warm sea surface temperatures too. Where this basically allows more convection and strengthening to occur. So that's another thing that will help support this thing strengthening. We also have, more broadly speaking, giant La Nina going on. You can see in a general triangle here, below average sea surface temperatures in the Pacific. This allows less shear. This does two things. One prevents convection, which leads to more shear going along the subtropical jet and shearing tropical systems. So, considering we don't have a lot of that, shear is going to be low as time goes on for this. So, the moral of the story here is that there's a lot of uncertainty, but this thing could do some things that are interesting and historical, given things. It already is historical, given the fact that we have a carrot-shaped AOI in mid-June, in the Atlantic. So we just have to we have to watch it closely and hope models like the Euro or the CMC do not verify. But unfortunately, it looks like impacts are guaranteed essentially for the Leeward Islands. I listened to local officials on, wherever you are in the Leeward Islands, about what you should do in this situation, how bad it's going to be, because I can't tell how bad it's going to be in 6 days and where your location is. So make sure you listen to local officials and the National Hurricane Center, which is hurricanes.gov, for the best information near you. All right, bye.